trying to learn how to audio engineer these days is like freaking awful. It's the worst. There's so many channels and people out there claiming to know what's what that it just is very confusing and overwhelming to get started. So today I thought it might be a really cool idea to share with you 5 or 6 of my favorite music production channels that to this day continue to help me get better and get my music listenable the most efficient way possible. Hey, what's going on? I'm Avi. This is my channel, Just Write Music. I also do some music production thing, but mostly writing music thing and sometimes guitar thing. Before we jump on into it, I want to tell you about my free training, 7 Essential Truths for Making Music in the Age of AI, going over some really solid basics and really solid mindsets to help you tackle music production for the first time in a way that is the least overwhelming and honestly the most fun. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. First up, this is a really huge channel that you probably maybe have already come across if you're in the audio engineering world at all, The Recording Revolution. Graham is no longer uploading videos really to the channel. For a while, his buddy Joe Gilder from Home Studio Corner was taking over, but it seems to be more or less not happening, which is fine. You know, everything doesn't have to last forever. He went on to greener pastures. Recording Revolution was really one of the channels that felt like I finally was able to understand even just like some of the basics. Now, don't get me wrong, he does get into the weeds a little bit. He really helped you understand what some of the fundamentals are, especially if you got any of his free material. For me, like, he may still, like, all this stuff is like, you can see this is like 7 years old, 12 years old. All this stuff is from a decade ago, but all of it's still really, really good. And to this day, like, my entire mixing philosophy is based on Graham's here. So highly recommend going to the Recording Revolution, especially if you are in the rock area. This is really for acoustic recording on a budget and getting like really the best bang for your buck for recording and for digital recording, as well as getting stuff, what was the word he used? Radio ready. Yeah, getting like a radio ready song. That was great. Yeah, these 5 minutes to a better mix, these are solid. These just like answered questions I didn't even know I had at the time. So really, really good. Highly recommend the Recording Revolution. So next is someone I know who is similar to Graham, but leans into the hardcore situation. It's literally called Hardcore Music Studio. This guy, I think Alex is his name, right? Is that his name? Is up here? Jordan. Oops. Jordan here from Hardcore Music Studio. He really focuses on metal and hardcore and metalcore and just like those heavy metal genres, the good stuff, the stuff that I love. It's close to my heart. Asking Alexandria, I'm pretty sure he mixed for them, and a bunch of other like pretty solid names in the space. Yeah, you can tell like he just has a solid understanding of what he does, and he has specifically mixed songs that if you're into any of that stuff, you probably heard, and you probably heard his mixes. So absolutely like stellar content, stellar advice from Hardcore Music Studio. If those are your genres, which like similar to mine, I couldn't recommend Jordan enough. He really helped me take what I learned from Graham and sort of take it one step further to apply more to the genres that were closer to my heart and that I was recording. That's Jordan. If you're into the heavy metal stuff, hardcore, metalcore, if you're into Asking Alexandria, honestly, you can't go wrong with Jordan and Hardcore Music Studio if you're into heavy music at all. Just like go and watch as many of his videos as you can. All right, cool. Moving on. Sage Audio. Sage Audio is a channel I only came across recently, but they are just like, they absolutely kill it. I always learn something so interesting when I watch any of their videos. Let's go to see like a whole thing of their videos. Like the one that really, for me, stop limiting your masters. This was an interesting one. Sage Audio talks mostly about mastering, you can see, but there's definitely mixing stuff in here too. It's really technical information that you start going in, but Sage makes it like, I hate that stuff. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to switch back to the talking. I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff so much. The freaking technical aspects of it. I literally changed majors to not do that anymore. But Sage makes this stuff really accessible and really easy to understand. I highly, highly recommend Sage, but only if you're kind of already have the fundamentals under your belt. If you're really trying to like get to the next level, Sage Audio is the way to go. But if you're just in the fundamentals still, if you're just getting your bearings on music production, I don't think that Sage is necessarily for you, or really doing any kind of mastering anything, because mastering is really a whole process unto itself with its own set of goals that are different from mixing, and it's very easy to conflate them. For example, like recording, like Graham here from Recording Evolution, he doesn't even try. He's just like, mastering is its own thing. Best thing you can do, set a limiter on your mix bus, get it loud, have it be less than -1. If your gain staged right, that should be just fine. And you know what? If you're not going to do any mastering at all, that is kind of good advice for the average person, for the average music producer. Seriously, Sage Audio here, incredibly solid, really great visual representations as well. You don't get the kind of the busyness of the DAW, which is sort of a good thing and a bad thing. I'll show you what I mean. They go kind of, let's just go into here, where you can see it right there. The setup is just this background with the cutout, with the screen capture of the plugins. That's generally how the way it goes. Unlike Jordan and Graham here, they both different mix guy. Good for you, Jordan. You're doing great. Getting a team together. But as you can see, like, they are in Pro Tools right now. Like, they are like a talking head like me in the computer. But what I like about Sage Audio, which I think is to the credit to the technicality of what they're working on, if you had to look at something really, really busy and learn this really technical, nuanced shit, it's hard. I've done it. It's hard. It's like just difficult to focus. But having just the plugin like this, so you can really focus on the sound and the plugin and exactly what you're listening for, it really makes all the difference. Highly recommend Sage Audio if you're like really just above the fundamentals and take your mixing and mastering to the next level. That's actually something to consider. Sage Audio, at least I haven't seen yet, they are solely on the production side of things. The other two that we've looked at so far, Hardcore Music Studio, Recording Revolution, it's in the name. Like, it really does talk about recording and how to get a good sound from the start with a microphone. Hardcore Music Studio is similar. It's mostly recording and mixing, and maybe a tiny bit of mastering. But Sage Audio here is really just mixing and mastering and like technical audio stuff. Like, if you're really ready to get into it, they're the way to go, man. They're the way to go. Okay, next. Similarly to Sage Audio is Production Advice, or rather, the guy behind Production Advice, Ian Shepherd. He should get more love than he gets, because he's great. He is just like, this is how I found him actually, the Mastering Show podcast. I literally was just on everything, trying to learn as much as I can. Like, going for a long drive, got an hour commute, which I had at the time 10 years ago. There you go. To learn about mastering really quick. Ian is an incredible engineer. He has made the sort of basics of mastering really, really easy to understand and really easy to grasp. I was working at a post-production studio around the time that I found Ian, and I swear to God, like, the only reason that my boss thought I knew anything was because of Ian Shepherd here. He really made things easy to understand and why you do certain things that you do. But Ian is particularly a mastering hub where, you know, he talks about, or he'll bring you through some of the basics, LUFS, mastering, EQ, what type of meters to use and what units to use in those meters. Really helps to dial in the nuances of what mastering does for the production process, while also walking the tightrope between like why this is different from mixing and why this needs to be its own process. So yeah, Ian Shepherd is the man. Highly recommend. Next, the Cosmic Academy. This is also some pretty solid work. Now, they actually do quite a bit of things. They don't just do music production. They also do some songwriting, mindset, productivity style stuff. They kind of go around a little. You can check out their playlist. You can sort of see tips and tricks. So this is how I found them. I found them through this tips and tricks playlist. Not the whole playlist, but like through one of these. It actually is literally this video, their most popular video that I found. I hated mixing until I learned this trick. This is where he goes over like tools like Soothe to like help, you know, with dynamic, like basically like dynamic equalization, but like on a ridiculous level. I highly recommend Cosmic Academy tips and tricks music production tutorials. Like this, really solid instruction, solid explanation, really easy to understand, and really solid examples as well. I really enjoy the examples that they give me here because it's similar to Sage Audio. It really does help. Like let's take a look at this one really quick. You can see just the visuals also very well. Like the production quality is very good. It does make a difference, production quality, when you're learning audio engineering. unless you're specifically learning how to use the DAW. Then obviously, like, you know, you get like some talking head stuff over here, but mostly we just have the plugin, some solid like title. Like it's really good, really well paced, and you can really see and understand exactly what they're doing, especially if you are wearing headphones or you're in a, you know, monitoring environment that's somewhat treated. But I highly recommend Cosmic Academy. They know what they're talking about. But they do also work, if I remember correctly, they're a little bit more out there genre-wise. Ian is much more acoustic into the rock. Sage Audio, going back to Sage Audio, they are kind of all over the place. They kind of do every genre. They have rock and metal oriented stuff. They also have some hip hop and some rap and EDM oriented stuff. So they really kind of they run the gamut in that sense. So back to Cosmic Academy, yeah, like this is a really solid channel, really good advice. Yeah, limiters are killing here. They probably are, man. They're probably sucking that stuff up. Also, another one, second to last guy we're going to talk about, because there's a secret other one that I also have, but I also want to show you, is Mixbus TV. Totally on the newer side for me as well. Honestly, I don't even know his name. I'm sorry. I don't even know your name, buddy. That's how new you are to me. But I've watched a bunch of your videos already, and you seriously, like, this great explanations, like genre-wise, all across the board. He covers pop, he covers hip hop, he covers EDM, he covers metal, he covers rock. He does kind of everything, and he does a great job at like giving like solid breakdowns of like certain chains. Like there's this great vocal chain video that he did with LA2A and 1176, not in that order, in the opposite order, between them. And that was really, really awesome to learn that, because I literally just picked those up and I was like, oh, I can get that sound now. That's really, really cool. Oh my God. So really enjoy David. This guy, his name's right there, David. So yeah, David's killing it in this channel. I highly recommend checking them out. Honestly, if you just listen to the people that I've given you here, like they're worth it. You know, there's no women. That's not cool. Go check out the channel She Knows Tech. I'm gonna give that a quick shout out right here, because they are like a kind of awesome advocacy group for women in the audio audio engineering space. So yeah, just go and get into them, because my friend I went to college with her. That's my friend Jasmine from college, and she started this whole thing, which is really, really cool and interesting. And she's incredibly talented. I hate that word. She's incredibly skilled in her own right. So if you want to learn about more women in tech, go here. Go to this website. All right, back to David. David, good work. I actually don't have anything more to say about you. But you're doing great. You're talking the good stuff, like just quality audio engineering advice across the board. Not a ton of recording, I will say that. Not a ton of recording that I've seen yet. Mostly plugin related stuff. Yeah, that's one thing to note about all of these guys. One thing to note about all of these guys is that they often are using plugins that cost quite a bit of money, like that Soothe guy I was talking about right here, with tips and tricks here. This boy right there, this guy right here. They like, this whole thing is about the Soothe 2 plugin. They do give you a free alternative that is okay. I haven't tried it out myself, but from what I read, it doesn't live up to the quality of the actually paid plugin. But these guys are utilizing plugins like Materials worth, that is like thousands of dollars worth of equipment, especially the analog emulations. Like the compressors that I just got from UA, I got them on that like 80% sale. Those are like $300 for just one of them. It's wild, absolutely wild what the equipment of this stuff costs. So if you see all of these guys and they're utilizing this gear, don't think that you specifically need that gear to get that sound. You can get that sound with the stock plugins or free or low-cost alternatives, affordable alternatives that will get you the same sound, or just wait for a sale. Like 80% off. Are you kidding me? Of course I picked that up. The 1176 I got as part of part of the Volt 276 package. Came with a whole package, like Melodyne. Like they all come with like a bunch of packages and stuff these days. So get a bundle. That's what it is. They all come with a bundle these days. So keep that in mind as you watch all of these people teaching you audio engineering. They're teaching you from their studios, which are already set up and already established. You're just getting started. That's one of the reasons why I feel like on some level, maybe they're not the best people to listen to, because they're coming from such a case of such extreme knowledge that for the person who's really just starting out, it's like, don't even bother watching some of their content because it's just going to go over your head. It's the same thing with guitar videos. If you're trying to learn guitar from YouTube, the algorithm's going to send you videos. They're going to serve them up to you that you're just not ready for. You're not going to understand, right? So if you do try and understand, because they look interesting, why wouldn't you try to learn a new thing about it? You have the best intentions, but you'd actually just come away more overwhelmed and confused. It just doesn't help, right? So on some level, just remember that these are professionals talking, and that sometimes the best advice that you can get is from someone who's just a couple of steps ahead of you rather than someone who's like already at the finish line. Something to think about as we continue. So David is great. He's just has such a wide berth of knowledge. I mean, if this is right, like, if he's like actually a platinum mix mastering engineer, then yeah, he obviously knows his stuff and you should listen to him. But again, highly technical. Look at the studio. I'm just going to look at this studio. Like, that's, if you are just getting started, that's scary. I'm going to move myself so you can see it. Look at that. Look at that console. I'm going to be him for a second. Just look at that. I'm going to be him. Like, look at this. That's an insane mixing desk. Like, if you're just not even if you look at that and your eyes glaze over a little bit, like mine do, just make sure that you are ready for the material that you are being served up, because it's easy to not know. Not saying like if you see someone with a desk like that, or like, in a fancy studio, don't listen to them if you're a beginner. If they're talking about beginner stuff, listen to them. But if it's very clear that they're talking about advanced stuff, don't listen to them. Go find more beginner stuff and like find a path for yourself, right? Go and find a path that someone can help bring you down so that you can get better at the skill you want to be better at. We don't all have to be amazing mix engineers. We don't have to be phenomenal professional engineers in these fancy studios. Another one I want to share with you is Glenn. My guy, Glenn Fricker. Get out of here, Chanalytics. Glenn Fricker. I don't know him. I don't know any of these people. They're all doing way better than I am. Spectre Sound Studios. So this is a channel similar to Hardcore Music Studio who's just metal. You do metal. Nothing but metal. It's metal all the time. Wait, hold on. One more time. Metal. There you go. Hit the like button. Haven't done that in a while. Damn. What's happening to me? I'm reverting. If you're making metal, you gotta be listening to Glenn. Honestly, he does great. He also has such a fantastic way of describing complex concepts. Like, he has this really interesting way of miking up amp cabs in like a mini mixer and then going into the main mixer, so you can like dial in the sound that you want from both cabs the way you kind of can with amp sims, right? So you can get best of both worlds. That's what he was doing. It's awesome. But Glenn knows what he's talking about. He has a lot of unpopular opinions that a lot of guitarists have some trouble with. Not gonna lie, he says things like you're an elitist gatekeeper. Glenn pulls no punches. Glenn pulls no punches at all, and that's the reason why you should listen to him, because he isn't really a guitarist engineer. That's something I struggle with, is not being a guitarist engineer rather than like an actual just like thinking about it. Like, that's where my like actual like songwriting and music composition training comes in handy. It's like, no, I got to think about this like an actual writer, not just as a guitarist. That's a huge pitfall that guitarists fall into, producers fall into, or really any producer that specializes in an instrument. If you're making larger ensembles, it's easy to fall into the trap of focusing or making your instrument the more prominent one, even if it shouldn't be. So that's a hot take right there. But Glenn really knows what he's talking about. He'll give you like solid pieces of advice, like it's the cabinet speaker that affects the guitar tone more than anything. Pickups don't mean jack shit. Yeah, right? I don't know better than him. I can't dispute that at all. But his examples were pretty telling in that video. I highly recommend go and check out that video. It's one of these. I can't find it right now. Really, really solid. It's all metal all the time. So if you're just a metal boy like myself, metal guy, metal man, Iron Man, Queensryche is dope. It's a great band. Then you should go and check out Glenn here. And he talks about a lot of recording aspects as well. He really goes into the recording aspects of amping, of amp miking and drum miking and all of that stuff. He talks about the technical stuff, but he does it in such a way that he's easy to follow. And his personality. I mean, look at this. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that face. That's his personality right there. Right? I can't do it without it. Oh, there we go. That's his personality. Just know that. It's great. And he's great. He's a beautiful Canadian bastard, and we all love him. I don't know him. Again, I don't know any of these people. Anyway, there you go. That is it. That's all I have for you. Those are my actually 7. That was 7, I believe. My 7 music production channels that for me have made a world of difference in my audio engineering. So much so that I barely need to even think about audio engineering. I just kind of use the affordable sounds that I have that sound fantastic, right? Especially if you get them on sale, which happens all the time now. And just have these guys tell me exactly what to mix. Sometimes they even give you the same tools, and you can download files and mix along with them, like Bogren Digital. They do that. Bogren? I never know. They have this thing where you can like mix Trivium along with them. It's really solid. And anytime you can do something like that, where you can mix the way they're mixing, especially like the same files with the same plugins, and really hear the difference yourself and feel the difference yourself as they do it, you do it. Highly recommend doing that if you can. Whenever you're doing this and you're going and watching these audio engineering channels, don't do it on your phone. Don't do it. You're not going to hear the difference very well. The stuff that's going on in the rest of the world is just going to be too much. It's just not worth it. You're not going to hear the difference, and you're not going to know whether or not they actually knew what they were talking about because you couldn't follow it. If you can't hear the difference between the examples, that means you're probably not ready for it. Listen again, and then again, a third again. And if you still can't hear it, move on. You're just not ready for that yet. They know what they're talking about. You're just not there yet. And that's okay. That's okay. That means you don't have to worry about it yet. It means you can keep looking for someone who you do understand. And once you find that person who you understand, you just need that one hook in to start building your knowledge little by little. And if they offer some kind of course or something like that, go and buy it. Because like if you find that if you like them, they're talking about your niche, you should go and do it. Just, you know what I mean? Support these guys. So that's all I have for you today. If you want to learn about writing music and how to make sense of sort of like these AI tools like Logic Pro's session players and like what to make of all of that stuff, I have a free guide or a free training, whatever you want to call it. It's going to give you 7 truths that are essential to making music in the age of AI. It's going to give you some solid tips and mindsets and tools to navigate through this stuff so you don't wind up wasting a ton of money and wasting a ton of time. Those are the biggest things there, especially the time component. Don't do that. But you don't know you're doing that unless someone tells you to not do that, right? So here I am trying to tell you to not do that. There you go. All right. I'm Avi. Just Right Music is my channel. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. That'd be cool. Peace out. Don't forget to be awesome.